Hello there and welcome into Drop Spot. It's great to have you guys here. I'm so excited to be here. It's me, Adam Savage here, your host for the show. A talk show all about Fortnite. All things Fortnite. You love to see it. It's not just me though, of course. I'm joined by my amazing team with me here on the talk show as well. We got ourselves Levin2K and Squatting Dog. Fellas, lads, it's great to be here together talking about this. I mean, we got so much to talk over as well. Levin, it's been a long time, my friend. It's great to see you. I always love seeing your face. And there you are. It's good to see you.
I've missed you, Sav. I've missed you, man. It's good to link up and talk some Fortnite. I'm actually the first repeat guest, I believe. So, making my second appearance here, all-time leading appearance make on the Drop Spot talk show. It's good to be here. Good to be here.
Levin2K always breaking records. Always breaking records. Smashing them. Squatting Dog. Dude, this is the first time you and I have been together on a show together. Imagine we're at some kind of awkward cocktail party and I say to you, oh, hi there, what's your name? Tell me about yourself. What's your role in Fortnite? Give us the lowdown. Tell us all about yourself.
I would first say, nice shirt, bro. And then I would be like...
Ditto, man.
We look like we're matching over here. But yeah, I feel like I would say I've been a content creator for 5 years. I've been following Fortnite since its birth, and I love this game. I love the people that surround this game, and I want to see its success, and I want to be a part of that success. So yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, pleasure, mate. And I couldn't imagine a greater trio to bring you guys all the latest from the Fortnite world. On the show tonight, we're talking about some really exciting stuff. We're kicking off. Obviously, we have DreamHack Gamers 8. We're going to talk about the latest tournaments coming your way. Creative 2.0. I mean, it's taken over the world in the last week. That must be digested and talked all about as well as more content from the new season. There's loads and loads to unfold here. Let's just dive right in, lads. I mean, let's dive right into the competitive, the latest tournaments we've heard about and the mega prize pools too. DreamHack and Gamers 8. 3 DreamHack lands, okay? We're looking at San Diego coming thick and fast April 7th, and someone here on our amazing talk show team is going to be there living the dream right next door in San Diego. That's you, Squatting Dog. You are a San Diegoan. Is that a thing? Is that how you...
It is now.
It is now. We invented it right here, live. You heard
San Diego. Here I am.
$250,000. I mean, what a massive prize! Well, $45K for the winner. This is huge. This is huge numbers we're talking about for a LAN here. Not to mention zero builds as well. I mean, how great having it on your doorstep, and how excited are you for this competition?
Oh, I couldn't be more pumped. I think the zero build scene has been asking for something like this for a long time, and here it is, and it is coming quickly, and there is tons of money on the line, which is very exciting for plenty of players to finally move over, show up, and actually destroy. So I'm excited to see all of our players out there today.
Lev Squatting, makes a great point there as well about how the players are going to be they're going to be so hyped about the fact they get to play together in person again, because we're seeing more and more events and more LANs where players are coming together and they're competing face to face. Adds a whole new dimension to competition as well. But of course, the top 10 also qualify for Gamers 8, which is huge. Obviously that's a $2 million prize pool coming up in July in Saudi Arabia. Levin, this is something I think is going to be really exciting, because obviously zero build, we're so used to FNCS where it's, the building meta is a massive part of that. But for you as well, what's your kind of vibe on prizes of this magnitude as well?
I'm pumped, man. I'm so pumped. I was at Gamers 8 last year, right? And it was such an exciting event to be a part of, right? When I speak to players to this day, a lot of players still, hold that is their favorite event they've been to and they've been a part of. So I'm sure everybody's going to be grinding their hardest to be able to make it there again. And with that kind of money on the line, you just can't afford to slip up, right? I remember, back in that competition, the winners of the zero build event then were Pink and Anas, right? I'm sure this time around they're going to be so pumped to get the chance to go back and try their best to win again. But look, I'm super excited about the event. I think the big thing is that's so exciting, Adam, is the fact that we have like a LAN circuit in Fortnite, right? For like the first time, you have, LANs that people can be a part of that qualify you to the next bigger LAN. That's something we've never really had, right, in competitive Fortnite history. And I think when you think of competitive gaming as a whole, that's something you almost, identify with most competitive games. So the fact that we finally have that in Fortnite, it's a very exciting time to be a comp Fortnite fan.
Yeah. Great point there as well about the fact that players are really being put on the map. Obviously, Booga was World Cup winner for a very long time. Like he held the accolade of the player that everyone talked about because of that. But now we're seeing the likes. We saw an ass win that Mr. Beast, got a competition recently, $1 million there. We saw Cammy and Seti win Invitational. We're starting to get a lot more players now who are the champions, the winners of these lands. And Squat and Dog, every single competitor is going to want to be in that pool of celebrated champions as well.
Yeah, I feel like you follow the money, right? So we're going to see a lot of big names that we are familiar with. We're going to see a lot of new up and coming people who maybe just didn't, get along with the build scene and really want to jump into zero builds. And so it'll be cool to see at a LAN all of this happen live, right? Like in front of us all, to kind of like arise new faces and familiar ones as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point because you're right. A lot of the best players in the world that you're used to seeing in FNCS are obviously going to be competing, right? I know players who are flying all around the world to be there in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
But you make a good point of like, a random San Diegoan might pop up to the event and decide that they want to be the next zero build GOAT, right? So it's very exciting when you have these sort of bring your own computer lands where anyone can sort of show up and compete. The new names and faces you're going to get popping up are endless.
I know. Obviously, San Diego is kicking off first, and Dallas and Sweden later in the year. But I mean, you were there last year, Gamers 8 as well, 11. You saw the kind of the scale of the stage too. Like for players when they're kind of in that environment, when they're on that stage with other people watching, kind of fans cheering their names, that kind of experience goes a long way of players too. Like adds so much to kind of give that kind of when it comes to future tournaments and such, they have to have that thicker skin that they've been there, they've done it, and they've experienced it, and it kind of almost pushes them on as well.
That's what players dream of, man. That's what players dream of. Even me, when I will play like random field games now, and I tell people I'm a commentator, they'll be like, "Yo, can you commentate me right now, like as we're playing?" Because like people just want that hype of like, you're playing in an event, you hear the fans cheering, right? That was a big part of Gamers 8 last time around, right? Players were just constantly hearing fans nonstop. So yeah, super exciting. And even beyond just like the actual crowd that you get, at the final big LAN, at the San Diego, Dallas, when we have Sweden Rock Round, when you're playing there with everybody's setups all laid out in the BYOC setup, when you are doing really well in the game, you'll notice that like people start crowding around you to watch you, and so like you're in game and like someone's on your shoulder, like you barely got any space, but like these moments are hype. Like that's why these players play. That's what they do it for. And so yeah, I'm super excited, to actually just see that all start to kick off because it's literally around the corner. It's like next week or something, right? It's very very soon that we get all these events.
Even at FNCS, I was sitting there, in a LAN environment, and you would see kids just gravitate towards like clicks or something, and the stage would be like packed in one area because their player was right there, and you can only imagine what that does to your mindset when you're playing this game, right? You either focus in, you do what you do well, or you kind of like, succumb to that type of energy and environment, and that can affect you as a player. So we'll see that change. You might be really great when you're in your basement, like, one light, just your monitor light on your face, grinding it out. But then when you're up there and the spotlight is on you, a lot can change.
Yeah, so much can. And it's all coming your way. Obviously, DreamHack, as mentioned, and Gamers 8 are coming your way later on throughout the course of the year here. It's going to be very exciting to see. I have no doubt players are excited. I know you guys are excited too, so keep tabs on it because it is going to be explosive. Trust us. Speaking of things that landed and have absolutely banged online as well, we mentioned at the top of the show there, Creative 2.0. You couldn't go anywhere in the world this last week, Levin, without seeing UEFN just trending left, right, and center. I mean, the visuals coming out of the latest tools and the Unreal Engine, it just looks like something. You can't really believe that Fortnite has evolved to this degree and is bringing us, an opportunity now to create maps, which just looks so darn good. I mean, when you saw this, when you kind of saw the initial kind of footage from it, I mean, did it blow your mind as much as it blew the rest of us minds?
Oh, 100%, man. I am just like a competitive nerd, right? So like I keep my, my head, knees deep into that. But I couldn't avoid Creative 2.0, right? It was absolutely everywhere. Everybody was talking about it, and I was blown away, right? I had no idea what was going on at first, but like I'm hearing everybody saying like this is the biggest thing in gaming history, and I'm like, okay, I guess it's the biggest thing in gaming history. And then I see it, and I am absolutely blown away, guys. Like this is like I'm looking at it, and I'm like, is this Fortnite? Like, how is this Fortnite? Like, there's no way this is actually Fortnite. Someone's like made some other game and like they're claiming it's Fortnite or something, but no, you can actually go in Fortnite and see things that you'd never have expected to see, years ago. So I'm super excited for all the possibilities of all the different fun things people are creating.
Yeah, I think it's like an inspiration too of like anytime you create a sandbox for players to create the game they want, that builds on itself, right? That builds
Yeah.
energy. And I think even in the creative space, I think this will affect, aim trainers. It'll affect like maybe full on maps that are made for with their favorite guns, maybe we get the return of the double pump or whatever, but like we now have the tools to create what we want. And I think when those things get popular, it'll be interesting to see how Epic reacts to that. Because let's say a creative person is like, no, this is how the meta of the guns should look like. And they create that meta that could inspire Epic to change their own game. So I am very excited to see the potentials of like how we can influence Epic with this tool.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, like I was, experimenting with stuff myself, right? I saw somebody made like a version of the old map, right? And so like I jumped in and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like, I'm 16-year-old Levin again, 4 years ago, getting excited to log on and play some Fortnite, playing all that old stuff. But again, like some of the different modes people are making, it's like I saw somebody make like a horror game type thing. Like it is crazy to me what you can actually do with this now. And like you said, man, I'd love to see then what Epic can like almost bounce back and make off of that, right? Like I think when you look at just gaming history in general, like some of the best games ever were like different mods and modes that were built
Right.
in other games, right? And
Yeah.
turned and developed into massive, bigger games. So it's like, somebody's gonna create something in Creative 2.0 that is gonna just change gaming again forever, right? So
Yeah.
this already changed gaming, but somebody will keep on building and adding to it. So
And the
very
power of
excited.
the tool is insane, right? Like
Yeah.
I can take a picture of something and import it into the game and then blow it up. Like I'm making a map right now where I'm a little person and everything else is massive, my room, and I can actually put my own assets into the game. And that is huge for like
That's
anybody
awesome.
who wants to develop anything. You can create whatever you want or whatever you can imagine.
That sounds really overly complicated and totally over my head, but I respect the fact you're doing it.
too.
That sounds really cool. I mean, you're right. I mean, that's the great thing about, I guess, you mentioned the OG map there as well, Evan, like the kind of the legacy aspect to it as well. Even though in that short period of time, like the last 4 years or so of Fortnite's like history, the amount of players that have gone back to playing that OG because they remember, when it first came into our lives and how it's kind of grown since. The interesting thing is as well is now that we have these kind of tools, you look at like the consumers of like, regular kind of games, whether they be kind of campaign based or multiplayer based. But now that kind of young players and veterans alike are be able to create their own maps. So there's a new kind of like economy within the game of new creative experiences. You wonder whether there'll be a whole new area of gaming now. I mean, that's how Fortnite has evolved to that level now, Levin. That you got to a point now where you have your own, having your own games that you create at home makes such a you can share with your friends and say, hey, check out this thing I just made here. You can say, hey, Squatting Dogs goes, hey, lads, I've just made my mini map of me being small, everyone like a borrower size and everything's massive. Check it out. I mean, that is, it adds a whole new dynamic to gaming in general here because new gamers might be completely immersed in this kind of new these new tools that Fortnite's provided for us.
Yeah, like it's great, right? Obviously, it's bringing a bunch of new developers who now have more tools to work with and experiment and create things that they want to create. The way I see it is like years ago, I logged onto Fortnite and I came on with the expectation of playing Battle Royale. Right, Creative came out, I came on and it was like, okay, I have other modes. Maybe I can like 1v1 realistic, so I can play some sort of FFA map or something fun. Different things. Now I can come on Fortnite and play anything. Like I can do anything I want to do, right? I can play multiple different games within this game. So look, when it comes to Scott and Dog making his own map, look, that's just way too technical for me. I'm not that smart, but I will be there to play it when it comes out. So I'm very excited about all the different modes and things you can sort of experiment with and play.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy as well. I was gonna say,
I think it's really exciting to see like the evolution of it. I think it's just the beginning. We're scratching the surface, so there's so much more to come.
And I was to say, if you do get curious and you want to kind of Squatting Dog, create kind of like a real life kind of Fortnite based universal map of this conversation of the three of us just together in the Fortnite stratosphere, just hanging out, I'd be so down for that. I don't have many friends, and that would be really
Don't tempt
helpful.
me. Don't tempt me.
Okay.
I will. You can do
man.
it. You can do it, man.
You can do it. You can do anything. The possibilities are endless, and I'm sure you guys are keeping tabs on this online because it will continue to get bigger and bigger. It's only the beginning. Fortnite Creative 2.0 is out there. Enjoy it. I'm sure there's loads more to come from it too. Let's talk very briefly about upcoming tournaments as well here, as loads of things are happening for you guys to keep tabs on to, away from DreamHack and Games Day. Upcoming tournaments, Levin. What have you got for us? What's happening event-wise on the calendar?
Yeah, we've got a lot of things announced, right? Obviously, Duo Cash Cups are back. We have the Solo Victory Cups that are back. FNCS is going to be back very, very soon. So I'm very excited about that. Trio Zero Build Cups, right? So, a bunch of different events, for people to compete in and take part in. I think it's always interesting this time of the year where it's almost like, or this time of the season, I should say, where it's like everybody's sort of scrapping together, getting their trios ready, getting their duos ready. Me, myself, I need to find myself a duo, right? Ain't nobody been trying to play with me so far, so I need to find someone to do it. Maybe Scott and Dog and I are gonna,
It's fate, man. We're on this we're on this like whole talk show for a reason,
You know what I'm saying? So it's that time of the season. It's that time of the season. Plenty of offerings for people to take part in.
That's what this talk show is. This was actually me putting you guys together and saying this is the duo. I'd love to kind of rep you guys, get the flyers out there, support Levin and Scott and Dog. This could be a real thing. This could be a massive thing. Probably not, but hey, I'm an optimist. Okay, I'm an optimist.
Hey, but if we win, you get a cut. Okay, will give you like. 5%.
Hold on. You can get 5%.
I'm down for that. No, Levin, you stay out. You stay out. I'm definitely down with that, Scott.
I didn't agree to 5%. I didn't agree to 5%.
5%.
We'll talk about it later.
I will take it. I love that. Loads more for you guys, upcoming tournament-wise, victory cups and such as well, as mentioned, and it's all to look forward to. So keep your ear to the ground for those events coming up very soon in the calendar. Mid-game objectives as well is something that we should absolutely touch on here. Mid-game is becoming very, very interesting as Squat and Dog, and lots of new ways of playing the game and how things are affecting mid-game. What are some of the highlights from your perspective?
Yeah, I feel like Fortnite did such a great job of making mid-game more interesting, right? Like we've got some really cool stuff like these caches. We've got this island. The weapons on the island are pretty overpowered and really worth going for. So it really gives a player some reason to think of a new strategy. Like, oh my gosh, the island just teleported above me. Should we go for this? Like, what are the risks? What are the rewards? And then what does that mean for the rest of my game? So it really gives players that might not be, helping themselves with the mats that they need or whatnot, the tags, they might need some high ground. So being able to find these caches, these islands, to be able to do that is such a big deal for mixing up the game. And I think it's such a good addition to Fortnite.
Yeah, like I've been very much, in there myself, and from watching some of the competitive events that have already happened, as well as just like playing the game, you see how much impact they have. Where it's like there's actually just so much more loot now, right, on the map,
right,
and more things available. Obviously, the caches give you a bunch of loot. The islands are a bunch of loot. The vaults in some of the POIs now, right? The vaults at it's Shattered Slabs, Bastion, and Mega City, right? They all have vaults now, so. You get those, and there's a bunch of loot there. The mythic shotgun available for you. Personally, man, just seeing how it's in fact impacted competitive, it's like players are now fighting for this loot, right? Now this is loot that you can fight for, and we know how much these guys love to fight for loot. From my perspective, like actually just playing in games, I personally love to have the best weapons, and that's where I get my advantage from. Go into the island, picking up a pulse rifle, it's wrapped. If you let me get my hands on a pulse rifle, the game's done for everybody else in the lobby, right? And so even me, like I see the island and I'm running to it. Do you know what I'm saying? Not running to it. I got my katana out and I'm flying to it, right? So I've been a big fan of adding the caches and the islands this season.
And Levin, we have to talk about it. The mythic shotgun, 250 damage. That thing deletes people, and that is highly desirable, and they're only at those vaults, they're only at that island. Like, you got to go find those things, because if you have it, you have a huge advantage over your enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the consensus level as well is that players like they actually enjoy going for like that kind of loot? They like scrapping it out, trying to get it there first. You get the feeling that they love those kind of like objectives amongst themselves, and it kind of spurs them on competitively as well.
Oh, 100%, man. Those items are so strong. Like the things you can do with them are insane. Of course, Scott and Dog mentioned the shotgun, right? That's like just one shot, you're out
Yep.
the game, right? And so it's like no
Bang.
matter what position you're in as a player, if all is going wrong, your duo falls, you just need to hit the one shot and there's a chance, right? And that in itself is so valuable. There are many players in the world of competitive Fortnite at the top level who like you give them that power and it's just over. Like just give them the FNCS pickaxe now, right? They've already run the whole competition. And then even like the pulse rifles, man, they are so strong. Like the hip fire on the pulse rifle, it's
Mm,
like it's a laser beam. It's an absolute
yeah.
laser beam. And so yeah, like these are definitely things worth fighting for. And all the players know that. And it's like you always can't complain because it's like if you want it, just go fight for it, right?
And store, like, I feel like people are like, you had mentioned there's so much loot, right? So much
Yeah.
loot. So say I go and get that pulse rifle and you're ratting out in Storm, you can pull behind me and pick up my old loot and still have plenty of loot to go. Like, it's like we're passing loot around.
Yeah.
It's like, you want loot, you want loot, you want loot. And that's like a great thing for the game because when you don't have loot, that's one of the worst feelings in the competitive scene.
There's almost no excuse now to like not have shields. It's like if you don't have shields, like
Mhm.
if I'm watching someone and they don't have shields, I'm like, you're just doing something wrong here because there's shields everywhere. Like there's caches, there's just the regular loot on the map, there's caches, there's the vaults now, there's the islands. Like you should have more than enough loot to have a couple spare shields in your inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah, there really are no excuses now. I think that's the good thing. I like the katana as well, like the way you can rotate. I mean, it's fantastic that you have so much at your disposal to get you to the end game, ready to rock and roll everything you need inventory wise here as well. And I think it makes very exciting how the rest of the year is going to play out, and the rest of the season for that matter too. I can't wait to see what happens with FNCS very soon. But obviously there's loads more to talk about, including Levin recently as well. You had the opportunity, I think, to dive into the Tundra Bootcamp, which was something which a lot of it was. I loved watching this thing unfold online. A lot of chit chat amongst the players as well. You know loads about this. You had tons of fun to bring us. What was the lowdown? What is the scoop? You had your ear to the ground. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so look, for the people who don't know, Tanji Esports, one of the orgs that competes in Fortnite competitive, they linked up with Red Bull Gaming and they held a boot camp. They invited some of the best players in competitive Fortnite to come to London, my hometown, and stay for the weekend and compete in a bunch of different fun games and different pieces of content. The players we had there, we had the likes of Thomas HD, we had Trippin, Scram, Pink, SETI, right? FNCS Invitational winner. We had Vino there, a bunch of the best players in the world, essentially, competing at this thing. And it was a bunch of fun. Anytime you get the best players in the world all in one place, it's always going to be a bunch of fun. The most fun aspect of it for me, though, was commentating the 1v1 and the 2v2 tournaments they had with Motor. A lot of people will be familiar with Motor, one of the creators in the community. And it was just a blast, man. It was an absolute blast because these guys don't like to lose, right? Being one of the best Fortnite players in the world requires like a level of ego, right? Like you have to just almost back yourself to a certain extent mentally. And so when these guys are up against each other 1v1, nobody wants to lose. And it creates for some of the most intense battles you watch ever. It was genuinely one of the most fun things I've done in Fortnite in a while. Like I really hope it encourages more orgs to like, create boot camps and put on these kind of events because the fans loved it, the players loved it. I think it was a great success.
I loved watching as well. I was to say that FNCS Invitational last year. I remember the kind of the players' lounge that they had. And what's interesting as well is we talked about earlier on in the talk show all about the kind of like the pressures of like having audience members watching, being in a LAN where you got all the other players around you as well. When players were all together as they were in the Tundra Bootcamp, they come together and watch each other over each other's shoulders. You know that you've got everyone else watching you in the kind of the final phase of the game. It does add another layer again of competition. You want the edge. You want to show the rest of of the players around you that you are one of the best, that you can compete with. I mean, Squat and Dog, that is. I think there should be more of these boot camps because clearly players love this.
Oh yeah, I think my favorite thing about it is like when you talk to a competitive player about like what happened, why did you place this, and they'll have a full laundry bag of like excuses for you. But with the boot camp, it's like everybody has the same things, and you are just 1v1ing this person, and all of your ego is on the line. And that makes it so fun to watch. And it must have been so much fun to like talk about and cast, like, because that is the energy we're looking for, is like, here's an ego and here's an ego, and they are clashing, and this was the outcome. And that is very exciting material to participate in watching.
Yeah, I think for me, my personal favorite matchup throughout the whole weekend was during the 1v1 tournament. It was the final of the whole thing. Winner gets 1,000 Great British Pounds, and it was Thomas HD versus his former duo Trippin, right? And there's already a bunch of history that's already there within competitive, but earlier in that tournament, they faced off against each other, and Trippin won. And that was obviously the upset, because it's Thomas HD. You always expect him to win everything. And Trippin won, and he was just showboating, making sure Thomas knew. Like, it really stung Thomas that he lost, right? And so it was like, again, in the final, right, they get a chance to rematch each other, and Thomas is just locked in. Like, he just activates his peak performance, and he just rolls through Trippin and wins the whole thing. But even in there, like, there were so many great moments. Like, there's a round where, like, you know, Trippin is absolutely down to nothing, 1 HP, no materials. He jumps mid-air. You think, okay, it's done. Thomas is going to win. Bam, mythic shotgun, 1 pump, and he wins the round. And Miyamoto just starts screaming, freaking out about, you know, how could he have possibly won that? So, yeah, a lot of great moments between a bunch of top competitors. And a lot of these guys are going to be seeing each other again at San Diego, right, in a couple of weeks for that event. So, you know, the rivalries, I'm sure, will continue throughout this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's I can't wait to see exactly how that does pan out with players, because obviously, I mean, do you think they set themselves targets as well each year? I mean, now they've seen the kind of the season, how events are starting to unfold. We've already mentioned some of them in on today, but do you think there's now starting to have targets here, Scott and Dog, of like, right, I need to make sure that I hit X, Y, and Z before the end of the competitive calendar to ensure that I'm set for next year? Do you think they kind of always going to want to continue to progress in some way? I mean, do you think that what players, when they're going to these boot camps, when they're having these competitions, they kind of setting themselves, you know, a goal for the end of the year they want to make sure they do, to kind of see that they are moving forward?
Yeah, I feel like each calendar year, you're going to need to show up, right? You're going to need to chase some of this money. You're going to need to put yourself out there. And so,
a lot of money to chase.
A lot of money to chase, especially this year.
A lot of cheddar.
Yeah. And so if you're not doing those things, I think you're causing yourself a little bit of problems, you know, right? Like, you're not going to be seen, you're not going to be acknowledged, you're not going to be known. And so there is a lot of money on the line. So we'll see, those people that jump for it, like, we'll see, and we'll be able to hype up. And the ones that don't, most likely will fall through the cracks here.
Absolutely right, mate. Couldn't agree more. We obviously have loads of other competitions as well here, which have been kicking off left, right, and centre. One of those was the Mama Benji Fishy Cup recently as well. Great to see Benji and Savage together again here, Levin. It went down brilliantly. The community loved this thing.
Yeah, how could you not, right? You know, Benji is someone that everyone holds dear to their hearts in the comp scene, and so, you know, bless Anne for allowing us to get that. Like, she was actually at the Tundra boot camp, funnily enough, and so I saw her there. When I saw her, I gave her a hug. I said, thank you for that cup, because you know, just getting a chance to watch Savage and Benji play together again was fun. And funny enough, it was with her, right? They played with Mama Benji Fishy, and that provided for some great moments, right? Like, in terms of just having those two, you know, try to lead her to victory. Unfortunately, it didn't quite, you know, end in victory, but nevertheless, it was a bunch of fun for us, right?
I feel like these spotlight cups are really great to acknowledge like really awesome individuals in our community and get to rally behind them and support them in like how exciting this is. And so I hope to see plenty more of these from so many other creators that we are beloved inside the Fortnite community. And there's so many deserving ones that I think would be really fun to watch.
Trying to big up himself here. What, we're getting the Squat and Dog Cup soon, right? You know,
hey,
you're a deserving creator.
Hey, a little meme cup would be a lot of fun. I'm just saying, you guys, a lot of money on the line.
I mean, that would be wonderful to watch 111. I would love to see that personally.
Yeah, no, how could you not? I mean, like, of course, right? I'm sure he'd provide great stipulations to his cup, right? What are you throwing into your cup, mate?
I feel like, you know, you can do a lot of memes, right? We have the Infinity Blade, which caused havoc in
Of
the
course.
in the scene, which was hilarious to me personally. And I feel like, why not have like some mob boss where there's like one guy that's a little overpowered and the rest of us need to take him down, otherwise we're in trouble. Or, you know, you got the Landing Cup who used the Yeet pistol, and we saw that, and that was like a really fun cup where you could shoot yourself across the map. Like, if we, you know, change a few of like the settings to kind of make the game unique, I feel like some people would have some fun trying it out.
All right, well, we're definitely not giving you a cup now, mate. If we're getting Infinity Blades, I'll tell you
Call
that
me,
much.
Epic. Call me. I got some good ideas coming.
You've obviously thought a lot about this, Scott. We can see that. I mean, this could be. Hey, try and create it in Creative 2.0. I'm sure there's a way you could make it happen.
Well, I'm going to make it myself. Yeah, I'm going to make it myself. If you guys don't give me an opportunity, I'm going to make it myself. But like, like even Cypher PK's cup, right? Like, he had a hand-tailored item that he added to the game that made it unique, made it different, made it, and I think that's what's so fun for me as a spectator, is watching professional level players think outside of the box with a new item, right? We're seeing that with the sword right now, where if you're like 30 like meters away, you can slash into a build. So like, players are tagging things like every time there's a new item, we get to watch you know, these incredible players like perform on really awesome ways that I wouldn't think to do. And so I do love a new season for that reason. We had the hammer, now we have the sword. Like, when these evolution things happen, the game evolves in really cool ways. And I want to create a cup that like complements those that think outside of the box, not just, you know, play the game as it's been played.
That's true sandbox meta right there.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking outside the box, within the box. I love it. I mean, you know, obviously we go back to the cups element as well, and I love the ideas, Scott and Dog. I love them. We must talk about the PlayStation Cup as well.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously a massive cup on the calendar. Levin, what do we PlayStation Cup? What has happened recently, and what's, you know, amongst the players themselves as well? What is the latest drama unfolding across the PlayStation Cup?
Well, there's always drama in Fortnite, but I think when it comes to the PlayStation Cup, it's obviously a great opportunity, right? You know, it gives a chance to these guys grinding on console. I started myself playing Fortnite on console, so you know,
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to a lot of them guys, and it gives them an opportunity to compete for some big prizes, just like the rest of us are doing. So yeah, I was really excited to see some of that competition take place. Some of it was happening as the Tundra Boot Camp was happening, so I was like watching that and like peeping in and see what was going on in the PlayStation Cup. So I'm sure Scott and Dog, you saw a bunch of it as well, right?
Yeah, I'm a PlayStation fan through and through. And I think like just the easeability, like the easiness, I know we're making up words today, the easeability of being able to access these types of cups is huge for console, right? Like, you want to have your shot, and there's some incredible players on all consoles. And so this is a really exciting way to showcase those people.
Yeah, it really is. I couldn't agree more. Suddenly, you know, consoles getting their time in the spotlight. I love to see it. I mean, that's what's really interesting as well about the, you know, kind of like we've talked about a lot about the competition in general. It just feels right now, Levin, that, you know, the more, you know, the longer that, you know, we go throughout the course of 2023 here, we're finding more and more to talk about from a competitive standpoint here, like new competitions, new prize pools. It just feels that everything is growing and in the right direction, and it feels so good to be entrenched in the Fortnite space right now.
Yeah, look, for sure. Even going back to the PlayStation Cup, right? I think one of the interesting aspects for me when watching that is, of course, it is, you know, the PlayStation Cup, and you expect to see all the console grinders there. But you also see like a bunch of like pros who typically are playing on mouse and keyboard on PC. They're switching over to play these console cups, right? And that in itself creates some drama, some beef, where it becomes very tribal. Like the console players are like, hey, look, you know, you can't come around to our turf and think it's going to be easy. And then you also got the PC pros thinking, no, we're going to come here and show you, you know, what we do on the PC street. So that was a whole big dynamic. I know Queasy got into a run-in with some of the console pros. It was almost Queasy versus all of the console community at a certain point, but all fun and games, I'm sure, all fun and games. But it was a fun event, right? Seeing just talented players on console, right? Because a lot of them are, you know, they're very clued up into how to play the game, and they play the game well. I'm always curious about, you know, if you are a console player, right? And like you do really well in this competition and you make some money, do you almost just like buy a PC and like switch? Or do you stick to the console streets? I've always thought about that. I'm sure somebody has a better answer for me.
You just buy a PlayStation for every room in your house. You're like, just double down on the PlayStation. You're like, I'm already too good. Might as well just be the king of this castle. Yeah, I wonder that a lot too. Like, just in general, like how much more opportunity there could be for cups like this. I hope it was a good example of like what's to come. Hopefully this year, like where we can get more consoles involved in these types of unique cups, because there's some talent out there that I would love to see that maybe hasn't had that type of spotlight that this has provided. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, throughout the course of the year, I think we can all agree as well that, what we're mentioning in zero builds, new tournaments kind of coming up, as well as like FNCS and like as well. There is going to be a lot of new players coming to the forefront. We'll all be talking about them before long, I'm sure, which is going to be awesome. For you guys as well, obviously, 11, 2K, Squatting Dog, anyone listening or watching right now, we want to know exactly where we can find you online. 11, kicking off with you. Tell us where you are on the online that they can celebrate you and your wonderful life in the Fortnite space, my friend.
Look, you can catch me anywhere, man. I'm everywhere. I'm in your thoughts, in your heart. I'm in game. 11-2K bundle. Look, and Fishy, Mama Benji Fishy ain't the only one with a bundle. I didn't get a cup, but I did get a bundle. Do you know what I'm saying? But 11-2K on all social media platforms if you want to get in contact with me and have some fun talking about Fortnite or anything really, anything.
And then me, I'm at I'm all over the place as well. So you can find me on all socials. And then of course I stream on Twitch, got a YouTube channel. And then me and Levin will be practicing for FNCS. So you can come by, check out our stuff. Once we win some money, we'll figure out the deal with Adam. And
no deal with Adam.
Yeah.
No deal.
No
with Adam.
That's, deal.
That's the deal with Adam. The deal is no deal.
Adam, you're out.
We locked this in. This was, it was verbal.
It's official.
It was verbal, but it's been locked in. It was official. Okay, we have to talk about this very, very soon. Yeah, guys, it's been an absolute blast being here on the Drop Top with you both. It's been so much fun to catch up and so much to look forward to in the future as well here. Thank you everyone for listening, taking the time out to be part of the show. It's been an absolute ride. There's loads more obviously coming from Fortnite. This is a bi-weekly show every Thursday, and do make sure to catch every single episode. I've loved this. I don't want it to end. I feel like I want this to carry on forever.
Same.
But it does have to. But hopefully we'll see you very, very soon. I've been Adam the Savage hosting today's Drop Spot. Make sure to keep in touch with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye for now.